United have got a long history of nurturing talent, a club that has famously had an academy graduate in every single matchday squad since 1937. At the moment, you've got the likes of Mainu and Garnacho being the latest to break into regular first team football. One of the latest names that's being spoken about as a potential player that could break through in the near future, making some serious noise in the academy, there's a young midfielder by the name of Jack Fletcher, and he might just be the latest name that is etched into this illustrious lineage. Jack is already part of that illustrious lineage, being the son of former United Academy graduate Darren Fletcher. And he's been turning heads with some real eye-opening talent. And he's got a bit of a unique profile to how he plays. So let's have a bit of a deep dive into him and see what he is all about. So then, Jack is 17, born in March of 2007, only just turned 17 as well. Seems like he's training quite regularly with the first team. And he is a midfielder, an attacking midfielder. Stands at 6 foot. And from a technical point of view, we're looking at a young man with excellent ball control, excellent dribbling. You see him navigating tight spaces with ease, despite the fact he's a 6-footer. He's pretty tall for a number 10, actually. But there's a hell of a lot of guile and a hell of a lot of deftness to his game. And there is a sort of sneaky quality about just how good he is. There's a craftiness about him when he plays. His first touch is outstanding. He gets to switch play with just ridiculous accuracy. You see in vision, spatial awareness, passing. He's got a real keen eye for a pass. He's got the ability to retain possession, but his first thought is quite often to go forward. And I think that's the sort of standout thing that you're seeing in him. There's an aggressiveness to how he plays, with a real deep-rooted confidence. Perhaps comes from being, Darren Fletcher's son. There's a spooky X factor about him that's hard to put your finger on, but he's very incisive with his passes, but it's that confidence to be able to just get the ball forward. It's very easy. Everyone's a technical monster, really, now coming through the academy. You're not getting to Manchester United under 18s unless you've got a great first touch and you can pass a ball. Like, those things are such a given. But when you've got the bravery to be one that's taking those risks, breaking lines with passes, driving the ball forward at your feet, that catches the eye, to me at least anyway. He's always looking to find teammates in dangerous positions. There's a difference between stat padding your pass completion and actually trying to win games of football with defence splitting through balls or switches of play to a winger that's able to get at his defender 1v1. And the range of passing is genuinely impressive, but he can also dictate the tempo of a game from deep as well as being a little bit further forward. Now, when you look at the mentality, because that's the thing that's really going to carry. Like we said, everyone's technical. It's not really special to be technical as an under 18 at United. I've seen some, quite frankly, ridiculous technicians come through that haven't made it. But very similar to Mainu, Fletcher's got this composure and a sense that everything he does on his own sort of timing. He does make quick decisions under pressure. He doesn't seem to get flustered, which is a massive asset because he's going to playing in central midfield, probably in an attacking position. You're going to be in a lot of high pressure situations. But he understands the game well. He positions himself intelligently. He's constantly scanning and checking his shoulders. And he seems to have a real feel for occupying the correct space. I'm going to put that down to having an old man that's been a professional footballer. The tactical awareness allows him to not just be effective when he's got the ball, but a very important attribute of being able to contribute from a defensive point of view, finding passes you can intercept, breaking up play before it actually starts to progress, and certainly this is something he's got from his dad, because his play style is not his dad. It was at opposite ends of midfield, if anything, in the way they played. But he's got a natural leadership on and off the pitch. He's vocal on the field. He directs and moves teammates around the place. And something else that I think was what made his dad stand out is there's a work rate and a dedication that you can see already. And look, he's a silky player on the ball, so he's easy on the eye. But having that somewhere else in terms of work rate and ethic. Now, he's going to be compared to his dad. You're not going to get away from that. But if we had to say, okay, so he's not his dad, who is he then? Well, Odegaard. He's that kind of Odegaard player. Now, can Odegaard play with Bruno? I don't know, you know. I think Jack, right now, he occupies that sort of Odegaard kind of role. But as we've seen with so many young players, as they break into the first team, the role changes, adapts, becomes more suited to the professional game where, you know, now you're earning your wage and now you're going to have to fit into what the team requires. Could he be a box-to-box midfielder? Yes. The size on him, if you extrapolate what he will be once he hits his 20s, yeah. He will contribute offensively and defensively, making himself a valuable asset in transition with and without the ball. Could he be a deep line playmaker? Yeah. He could operate from deep. He's got the range, the tempo dictation in his game, the precise passing, the ball security, intelligent movement. We know he's got the defensive graft of the game, so you wouldn't really lose anything if you put him as a sort of deep line number 6. He could launch attacks from deep. What's going to be really interesting is how they specialise him and Mainu if he breaks into the team alongside him. Or do you just say, lads, be both sort of complete midfielders and we'll see what happens? Is there a requirement for us to hyper-specialise a midfielder? Or is it good enough that if they're good enough with the ball and they're good enough without the ball, that they can be central midfielders and we don't necessarily have to put, you know, hyper-detailed sort of football manager labels on them? When it comes to him not being on the ball, Fletcher is a hard worker that does not shy away from either pressing, marking, getting stuck in with duels. He is not a luxury player. Certainly not the luxury player that you can sometimes attribute to someone with his on-the-ball ability and style. He seems to anticipate not just passes when we have the ball, but also when the opposition have the ball. And he wins tackles. And he has the ability to operate in defensive structures. Now, he ain't perfect because he ain't playing in the first team yet, and he's certainly not on the Ballon d'Or shortlist. So where's the areas for improvement? Well, physical strength in relation to his physique. I don't think he's physically weak by any stretch of the imagination, but he could bulk up. And you've already seen it with Mainu. Mainu looks like he's put on a decent amount of size already. It takes a few years, but I think to cope with the demands of Premier League football, he is on the slender side. I mean, his dad was on the slenderer side, and he coped quite fine. There was a hardness to him, and he might end up the same way. But I think it'd be preferable to put on a little bit of bulk, maybe, get a bit broader, because he is going to get bustled around by players that have got maybe a bit of a lower centre of gravity than he does. And then, can he live with the potential and the hype? He's got a lot to learn still. You know, he's gaining experience through playing regularly. Right now, can we push him? Is this the sort of lad that we send out on loan early, League One, League Two, somewhere he will play? Get him used to the rigours of needing to win and the expectation to win. Now, some players don't need it. They come straight into the first team and they're fine, and that was all right for them. But I think you should be looking either way. You know, the talent, the dedication, the pedigree that exists within his family. He has the potential to break into the United first team sooner rather than later. And I think he does have the tools to succeed, but he also has things he's going to be required to pick up to be able to operate at a near international level almost immediately. That's what's required when you're trying to break into the United team. Now, he's already trained with the United first team. It's evident that United see a lot of value in having him around. He is certainly someone that is labelled as having a massive future at the club. Where can we take him? And what's the best development path for him? Ultimately, it's still a bit of a lottery. There is no, tried and tested path. Some players need a loan. Some players don't need a loan. We don't know which category he'll fall into. It just has to be seen, doesn't it? I wish him all the luck because, like Mainu, he could save us 60, 70 million pound. And we could use that area to strengthen elsewhere. He's got to bulk up. He needs to try and get as many first-team training sessions as he can. I know that's out of his hands. But, even just watch tapes of his old man. Because the X factor that made Darren Fletcher the asset was mentality. Fletcher wasn't a bad player. But there's more of a technician in Jack than there was in his old man. But it'd be great to see him come through. United's in his blood. So it would be really cool to see him come and make it as well. But let me know what's your thoughts on him. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.